Hello YouTube, this is going to be a strange video. If you're really into alcohol stoves, then this is quite a good video for you. If you like to hear a pot boiling of water and all that kind of stuff, then you need to stay here. If you're not into alcohol stoves, then don't watch this video. So the reason I'm doing this, I think I found a new type of material that's never been used before in alcohol stoves, and I think it's going to be excellent, and I just wanted to tell everybody about it. The community out there is so good with this kind of stuff. They share knowledge, information, links, suppliers, everything, so I just thought I'd do the same. I'm assuming you all know about alcohol stoves and all the ins and outs, so this is the kind of this is my little cat paw stove or fancy feast in America as they call it. With all alcohol stoves there's a wick. No, not with all. With some alcohol stoves there's a wick which transports the liquid up to where the flame needs to go. Now the wick is a bit of a pain. If you use cotton and things like that, it will burn eventually when the fuel runs out. You can use fiberglass or insulation from your house, loft insulation, which is also okay. Doesn't burn as much, but it can melt over time, over a long period of time. And fiberglass is quite heavy. That's not ideal either. There's some other stuff that people use. This stuff. This is carbon felt. Very weird stuff. It's used in kind of welding blankets. Extremely high temperature, doesn't degrade, and is quite strong. So this stuff's kind of ideal. There's two problems with it. One, it's quite expensive. Also, over time it shrinks. So if you've got this wrapped around the stove as a wick, over time that'll shrink and you end up with a little gap. So it's not ideal. So I've been looking around for other stuff. And I've come across something I'm going to show you now. Now this stuff is I'm going to call it like a fleece, it's just like a fleece really. It's really thick, really solid. Now this is a ceramic. Operating temperature can go up to 1,200 degrees centigrade, which is perfect for this kind of stuff. So an alcohol stove will go between 600 and 900 degrees centigrade, depending on ambient temperature, depending on how enclosed it is with windscreens, etc. So, but the maximum is about 930, something like that. And this stuff will go to 1,200. So loads of headroom there. So it's not ever going to burn, and it's not ever going to degrade in that sense. It's very thick. This is the thinnest stuff I could get, which is 13 millimeters thick. You can go up to 25. You can get it really thick. So you just need to work that out. But 13 was the smallest I could get it. Maybe I can get it smaller if I look around. So, but it's quite thick. It doesn't, like fiberglass, it doesn't leave little shards in your skin, an irritant. The only thing it can do, because it's ceramic, it can abrade your skin quite a lot. So I tend to wear gloves a lot when I'm using it. It's very dense, but quite light. You can get different densities of it. This is a lightweight one, but you can get much denser ones. And it's used in kilns and furnaces. It's the insulation they put around a kiln or a furnace to keep the heat in. So it's extremely well designed for what we want in alcohol stoves. But the thing is, you can get about nearly a metre square of this stuff for less than £10 in the UK. A metre square of this will make loads of stoves, and under £10 that takes it down to, it's going to be, well, less than 10 pence per stove or something, ridiculously cheap. What I'm going to do, I've only just picked it up today, so I don't actually know if it's any good. So you're going to explore with me and see if it's any good. This could turn out to be a disaster, but everything I've read and researched about it seems like it's perfect. So we're going to try this out now, live-ish, with some alcohol and start burning it and see what happens to it. But I've seen people with putting a piece of this on their hand. I don't recommend this, don't do this. But if you look on YouTube, you can see the very thick stuff of this. Put it on your hand with a blowtorch on the other side and you can't feel it. It's just so thermally absorbent. It's just incredible. So what we're going to do is take a little piece, put some alcohol on it and burn it just to see what happens, see if there's any weird stuff going on around the edges. So I'll do that. Then I've managed to put some in like a fancy feast style stove. This is my cat boil stoves that I make. If you want one of these, just email me on tackblades@gmail.com. But I've tried some in here. Now, this stuff is too thick to go around here. So what I did was I took a strip and cut it. You can cut it with scissors. And then I used a hacksaw to hacksaw down the thickness of it carefully. So you end up with two pieces half the thickness and it cuts pretty well. And you end up with a piece like this. Yeah, so it's quite thin now, half the thickness, and that goes in okay. Now, one downside is with carbon felt, it's quite rigid. It's not going to break and things. If you pull it, it'll tear, but it's quite rigid. This stuff's a bit weird. It's quite solid, quite dense, but you can pull it off in little pieces and it'll come off. So if you handle it a lot, you will end up with a load of little pieces. So you have to be a little bit careful with that. But it's gone in there okay. I don't know how it's going to absorb fuel. I don't know if it's going to wick or anything yet, but we're going to give it a try and see what happens. So most important, well, one of the most important things is the weight. Fiberglass is really heavy, so we're going to weigh this compared to carbon felt and see, got roughly the same size pieces. The carbon felt I'd have thought would be a bit lighter. Let's have a look. So 4.9 grams for the carbon felt, and that's enough to do one stove. 5.2 grams. Very similar to carbon felt, which is good. We'll just do a fancy feast kind of stove on the scales just to see what it is with this type of wicking. Normally with fiberglass wicking, which I use a lot, it's about 46 grams for the whole stove. So let's see what this ends up being. 25 grams roughly, which is very good. This is with a steel inner, so that's quite heavy, the inner. So 25 grams with that wick and that thing is very good. So let's try that. So I think we need to take it over somewhere safer than on the table, do some burning and see whether this stuff is really any good for the price. So I'm all set up now. I've got some precautions. I've got Dyneema gloves with a grippy coating. I'm under an extractor hood with carbon filters in. And I've got some tin pan in case it leaks anywhere. See how this soaks up first. Okay, good. This is 7.5 millilitres of fuel. Not a lot, but I just wanted to see. And just see how well that's pretty good. It's a bit wet on the bottom, but it is holding the fuel. So it is absorbent, which means it'll wick. That's good. So let's light this. There we go. It's burning fine. There's a little bit of a glowing edge there. That's where some really fine fibres have come out. Okay, so far so good. It's not really discolouring. It's burning clean. There's no soot or anything coming off of it, which is good. It's not really changing its properties when it's burning. It's staying quite static. It's not degrading, it's not flattening. It's just wicking the fuel and burning the fuel off, so it's exactly what you want. It does glow. You do get glowing from it, especially if it's very high heat. But so far so good. Got a little bit of a glowing edge on the back. So it is a silica based ceramic, I think. You can cut it with scissors. I've been cutting it with tin snips because ceramic's going to blunt those scissors pretty fast. It's coming near the end of this burn now. You can see now when it comes to the end the fuel's running out So it tries to ignite the material that you're using for a wick. It's not igniting it at all. It is glowing in a little few places. It's looking promising. It looks like it is going to work. Just waiting for that fuel to go out completely. It's looking quite interesting. So this has gone out now. It's almost exactly the same as it was when I started. Can't see any difference there. Even the glove, oh, it's quite hot. I can feel it's quite hot through my gloves. Okay, good. So that proves that it wicks fuel. It doesn't burn when the fuel runs out, so it's got all the properties you would expect of a little stove. So I think we'll try the Fancy Feast next with the wick inside. Let's put 12 millilitres, just under 12 millilitres, that'll do. So pour that in. So immediately, pretty much all the fuel has gone into the wick. Yeah, there you go. So definitely wicking well. How fast, I don't know. Normally you have to wait a few minutes to light these. Let's try. Yeah, it's not wicked up to the top yet. It's not as fast wicking as fiberglass, I would say. Because I think that's just disappeared. It hasn't got up to the height of the wick yet. Light in the middle. Ah, here we go. It's wicking up the side now. Quite hard to see. Turn that light off. Now that's better. So yeah, it's wicking. I've got 400 millilitres of water. Oh, what's that? Ah, that's impurities in the tin. That's not the wick. So far so good. It's actually wicking very similar to carbon and fiberglass. Let's have a look inside. Yeah, looks good. So the pot's talking now, as Shug would say. It's better because it doesn't shrink compared to carbon felt, and it's way cheaper. It's maybe a tenth or less of the price of carbon felt. It wicks fine. Looks like it's running out there like 15 to 20 millilitres, so yeah, it's pushing it for a boil. It wicks fine. It is a little bit delicate. If you mess about with it too much, it will end up in little bits, so you've got to kind of set it and go, not mess around too much with it. So that's one of the downsides, I would say. But overall, very good. I think it will last longer than fiberglass. There's a boil. So yeah, about a 5-minute boil, which is about right for these stoves. Very efficient. That's the design of the stove, designed by Zelf, who makes Fancy Feast in America. Go and check out his website with gas stoves, I think. And he does some awesome designs, and this is one of his designs. But I make them in the UK for people who need them in the UK. Slightly different design, slightly stronger, a little bit heavier, but slightly stronger. It looks like it's running out now, so let's go in there. There you go, it's jetting now out of the air vents, pulsing around the edge, which is normal. This is when it starts to burn the wick rather than the fuel, so this is the important bit. See it pulsing round and round. That's normal. Don't know why it does that, but it does that. jetting out the air holes, out the safety vents. There you go, he's out. So yeah, pretty good, works. Now then, let's have a look. So I can't see any, oh it's quite warm. I can't see any burning of the felt itself, even in the tiny little bits. There's no discoloration at all. It's almost as if nothing has happened to it. So it doesn't seem to have shrunk or anything like that. Time will tell on the longevity of it and how it works, but so far this looks like quite an awesome bit of wick. Right, let's go back over to the table. Okay, so it definitely works without a doubt. It's very, very weird stuff, but it definitely works. So these pieces, what I was going to do is take one of these are the favour tins, party favour tins. It's got a little glass cover in it, and just take that out and you're left with a nice tin with a nice hole in it. And I was just going to shove that in there and make a little stove. I think I put stainless steel mesh on top, like that. There's loads of designs on the web like this. This is full of fiberglass wadding house insulation, fiberglass top, and then a stainless steel mesh. But this stuff, you just pop it in like that. The top one. You leave it like that. You could, I would put some mesh on it just to protect this surface, because you could dig it out. The idea is you can pour your fuel in and then it doesn't leak. So yeah, there you go. You could just pour fuel in there, turn it upside down, it won't come out. I'll put some mesh on it just to protect that surface. But that's it. Very easy to make and very high performance. So yeah, you need a pot stand with that one obviously to hold your pot. Let's measure the weight of this. So the Fancy Feast with this wick in comes out at 25 grams with a steel support, quite a thick heavy steel support for heavy pots. This one comes in at 21.5 grams, that's pretty light. You're not going to get much lighter than that unless you start compromising on the actual container and make that lighter. But, I do have a lighter. Is it around? Yeah, hang on a second. So this is a prototype, I've not finished it yet. I was using carbon felt, but I'm going to use this new stuff now. This has got an aluminium, very strong aluminium centre pot stand, which takes the weight out of it a lot, but it's still strong enough for really heavy stainless steel pots. I haven't finished yet because I haven't got the air vents in it. Everything else is pretty much the same, so we'll measure this for weight. I've not done this yet, and we'll see what this is. This is going to be my lightest weight stove, hopefully. Let's have a look. There you go, 19.2 grams. So that's incredibly light for a stove. It's lighter than this one. This is with carbon felt, so the others will be roughly the same, so probably 20 grams in total. Once I've taken some holes out of here for air vents, that'll lighten it a little bit more performance. But it's not finished testing yet, so we'll see how that goes. But this is going to be the ultralight version of my cat ball stoves. That's 25 grams, just under, with steel, or you can go down to 20 grams with aluminium. Two very nice methods now. We'll see how this goes. This needs more testing. If it's good, we'll convert it over. But yeah, I don't know yet whether it's going to be strong enough for stainless steel pots and things like that. So there you go. You want to know what it's called now and where to get it, don't you? This stuff is called Super Wool. Super Wool. This is actually Super Wool Plus, which is a new model, slightly higher temperature rating, and it comes in various thicknesses. This is a 13mm that I've cut down to fit in here. The place I got it was in UK, in Bristol, and it's a place called Fireplug. It's a company that does everything to do with fire prevention, fire safety, cladding of kilns, making fire products, all that kind of stuff. So they do pretty much everything. Only a small company. I don't know whether they ship internationally or anything like that, but you need to look locally if you can find it, because I'm not sure how it would stand too well in shipping, but it's called Super Wool Plus. So have a look. I'll put some links down below. That's it. Hopefully a new type of wick for a new type of stove. We'll see more of this in the future and see how it goes. Hopefully other people will get it and try it, see what they think about it. Okay, thanks for watching. Just a quick experiment, live as it happened. Didn't know if it's going to work, but seems to work pretty well. And we'll be back to you again with some more stoves and cooking. If you want any of these and you're in the UK, just give me a shout. You can contact me through YouTube, email address tackblaze@gmail.com, and yeah, we'll sort you out. So yeah, have fun, source it if you can locally, if not order it online with Fireplug, and then yeah, see what you think of it. Good stuff, I think. See you again. Cheers, bye.